Okay, hi guys. So I'm making this video as a answer to a post that I did. In fact, probably going to be easier to show you that post. Let's. I made this post and I said there's a single cause of all these symptoms and they don't want you to know. And I listed a bunch of symptoms. So let's just read them in case you're looking on this on a phone, or looking at this, should I say. So fatigue, headaches, insomnia, digestive issues, including bloating, constipation, diarrhea, etc. Skin problems, allergies and sinus issues, joint pain and arthritis, back pain, stress, anxiety, depression, hormonal imbalances, inflammation, cardiovascular issues, weight imbalances, either too much or too little, immune system imbalances, such as frequent colds, flus, and stuff like that. Musculoskeletal problems such as neck, sciatica, thyroid imbalances, autoimmune disorders, addictions, smoking, alcohol, etc. Chronic pain and discomfort. That's a small list of many of the symptoms that are common, unfortunately, in the very the world that we live in today, where we've got a lot of chronic ongoing issues, especially as people get older, but the age of older is going down. So people are now starting to see these even in their 20s and before. So we have a huge problem with a lot of people suffering from a wide range of symptoms, of which this little list includes some of the more common, but there's many more. And the question becomes, what is causing this? Because it's very difficult to fix a problem if you don't know the cause. And many people seem to be under the impression that the cause or causes are unknown, and they're not. So one of the differences between the conventional approach to health and the natural approach to health is that the conventional approach, and I'm choosing my words carefully, the conventional approach tends to seek to suppress symptoms. So you have a symptom, one of those 20 or so that in that list. You have fatigue, you have headaches, you have high blood pressure, high blood sugar, whatever it may be, and they're going to seek to suppress that. If it's high blood sugar, push it down. If it's high blood pressure, push it down. If it's low something, push it up. That's the approach, without actually trying to find out why is this happening. So the natural approach is always about cause. And I'm sure that if you were to have a problem with your car and take it to the mechanic, and the mechanic didn't know the cause of the problem, he's not the mechanic you'd want to fix your car. Right, you want him to first of all understand, say, hey, that's happening because your gasket is blown, or whatever it might be, and we need to replace the gasket, and then it'll all be fine. We need to put new spark plugs, then it'll be sorted because your spark plugs are clogged up, whatever it is. Okay, well, you want your mechanic to understand the cause first, because then once he understands the cause, he's in a position to fix it. Okay, so it is the same with the body. You need to know the cause, or at least the person helping you with your health needs to know the cause. Somebody needs to know the cause, ideally you. So this video is going to go into the cause of nearly everything. There's a couple of causes. There's one primary and one secondary, pretty much, that explains all these symptoms and more. And I'm going to prove it as well. I'm not just going to say something, I'm going to prove it. Okay, so that's what the video is about. And let me just get rid of that for a minute. Okay, so let's begin to look at the evidence. I'm going to first of all propose to you what the usual cause is. Then I'm going to prove it. Then I'm going to touch on one or two other things that can also be part of the problem. Okay, so in the thread of that post that I made, a lot of people correctly identified the cause. Some people correctly identified a secondary cause. Some people had no idea. So let me start off by telling you the primary cause. So the primary cause of all of the chronic symptoms that we see all around us, and maybe some of us suffer with, the primary cause is toxicity. Okay, so toxicity is the number one enemy, and we're living in a very toxic world. We are more and more toxic. There's obviously a wide range of toxins, and depending on the toxin, depending on the levels, depending on where it is, we may get different symptoms. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin by focusing on just one toxin that is a very common one, and show you the length and depth of problems that can come just from that one. And then when you think there are many, many thousands of toxins, you'll begin to see the level of the problem. So I'm not choosing this toxin for any particular reason other than it's a common toxin and it has a large number of possible side effects. Okay, so let me just go back. So I'm going to look at this. So the toxin I'm looking at is mercury. It's well known, and it's in the teeth of most people that are of any age. Okay, so they use mercury in what they call an amalgam filling. So it's a very, very common toxin. And while it's in the amalgam, while it's bonded, it's actually not toxic, but it's very easy to break the bond of mercury in an amalgam filling, and then what you basically have is an off-gassing from your filling. Now, the filling is the most common cause, but it's not the only one. Mercury is in food, it's in a lot of places. So we all have mercury exposure, even if we have no amalgams. So it's commonly one of the common, well-known ones is fish, especially the larger fish. So let's have a little look at some of the symptoms of mercury toxicity. Now, I asked this question in ChatGPT AI. So this is an AI answer, so it scours the internet and it comes up, and I asked it for the top 10, I believe. So these are the top 10 symptoms. So neurological symptoms, so including memory loss and difficulty concentrating, tremors and muscle weakness, depression and anxiety, insomnia and fatigue. Okay, so that right there is a lot of stuff that would normally be given a disease name, but is actually a symptom of toxicity. Let's go on. Gastrointestinal symptoms, including nausea and vomiting, abdominal pain and diarrhea. Okay, again, a lot of people with gastrointestinal symptoms. By the way, these are just a few examples. There's many more gastrointestinal symptoms than these. So if you have gastrointestinal symptoms, one possibility is mercury. Respiratory symptoms, including chest pain and shortness of breath. Okay, so there's a lot of respiratory symptoms going on right now, and one of those causes is mercury. Now, don't forget, there's a lot of other toxins that can also cause many of these symptoms. So we're just looking at one at the moment to make a point. So skin symptoms, rash, itching, swellness, redness, eczema, all these skin irritation things are caused by mercury and a range of other toxins. Okay, because that's your body trying to push out the toxins through the skin. Kidney and urinary symptoms, including kidney damage, increased frequency of urination, and blood in the urine. Okay, cardiovascular symptoms, including rapid heart rate, high blood pressure, and heart palpitations. Number 7, reproductive and environmental and developmental symptoms. So infertility, abnormal fetal development, and birth defects. Okay, immune system symptoms, decreased immunity, increased susceptibility to infections. So it's actually 8, not 10. Okay, that is given here. So as you can see, there is a large range of symptoms here just for this one single toxin. And there's many more. These are just some of the symptoms. This is by no means an all-inclusive list. This is just some of the more common symptoms that you may have. Nobody has all of them. You may have 1 or 2 or half a dozen if you're unfortunate. But those are some of the symptoms that you may have from mercury toxicity. And yet, if you were to go to a conventional health practitioner and you had respiratory symptoms, or you had itchy skin or swelling or eczema or kidney issues, rarely do they talk about the toxins that might be involved in that. Okay, so it's very uncommon that they actually talk about toxins being the cause of anything, which is very concerning. So the first point then that I want to make is that toxins give a wide range of symptoms that are often given disease names rather than being told that it's a symptom of toxicity. Now, when you multiply all the different symptoms by all the different toxins, let's have a quick look at a few more from Mercury. This one is from a study looking specifically at mercury toxicity. It's going to cover some of the same ground we just did, but chronic exposure to clinically significant doses of mercury, which is, by the way, hardly any, produces neurological dysfunction. At low-level exposures, non-specific symptoms like weakness, fatigue, anorexia, weight loss or weight gain, by the way, gastrointestinal disturbances have been described. Higher exposure levels are associated with tremor, muscle fasciculation, oh my goodness, I can't say it, fasciculations, punctuated every few minutes by coarse shaking, in other words, shakes. Erethism may also be observed. That's around behavioral changes. It says that next. Severe behavior and personality changes. So irritability, any kind of personality change can be linked to mercury and other toxins. Emotional excitability, loss of memory, insomnia, depression, fatigue, delirium, hallucination, gingivitis. Let me just go down, see if there's a few others down here. Abdominal pain, vomiting, bloody diarrhea, necrosis of gut. What else have we got? Renal necrosis, autoimmune, various immune dysfunctions, hypersensitivity reactions, asthma, dermatitis, brain dysfunction, thyroid dysfunction. Hopefully, you're getting the point. So, we have an enormous range of symptoms caused just by this one toxin that's in most people's mouths and is in a lot of food and other sources of mercury. So, as I say, I don't have time to go through all the different toxins, but there's a very large number of toxins. And yet, when you go to your health person, okay, it's very rare that this is discussed. So toxicity then is the prime cause of the symptoms that we're seeing all around us and that you may be experiencing. Now, toxicity also has some other knock-on effects. So one of the things that it does is it reduces your body's ability to absorb nutrients. So even if you're eating a perfect diet, which practically no one is, but if you are, but you're toxic, you're not going to be able to get the nutrients that your body needs. And deficiency is the secondary cause of many symptoms. And you can become very, very sick through deficiency of nutrients. And if you're toxic, you're automatically going to have deficiency. So toxicity creates the second major platform of cause, which is deficiency. So you could be non-toxic and get sick if you're deficient, but most of us are deficient even if we're eating a good diet, and most of us are toxic, so we're deficient for other reasons than diet. It doesn't matter how good your diet is or how good you supplement. If you're overly toxic, you will not be absorbing those nutrients. Okay, so toxicity is the prime cause, deficiency is the second cause. Another thing that toxicity causes is an overgrowth of things like parasites. So you end up with parasites or overgrowth of candida, yeasts and fungi and stuff like that. Your immune system is taken down, so you become much more vulnerable to other problems. So Toxicity and deficiency combinations, but in particular toxicity then, are the prime cause. Now, if you've got some symptoms, let's say, you know, you've got depression, and you do some research on depression and toxicity, or you do some research on multiple sclerosis and toxicity, or cancer and toxicity, or whatever you care to think of, you're going to find a lot of PubMed studies looking at that and identifying links. Okay, so what can we do about it? Because I don't just want to talk about the depressing side, like we're surrounded by toxins, we're bombarded from every which way, and that's going to make, you know, create symptoms. That's a truth, but we need to come up with solutions, and there are solutions. So I'm going to talk about, first of all, briefly, the first thing that you should be doing, and that is you should be reducing the number of toxins coming into your body by making better choices, such as drinking pure water rather than drinking water from the tap, as an example. A distiller is the best way of purifying your tap water and making it pure. But drinking pure water is a great start. Eating food with less toxins, for example, choosing organic, which is less toxic. Unfortunately, organic is rarely really organic, but it's better than the non-organic, especially for the most heavily sprayed crops like potatoes and coffee and things like that. You want to make sure that those ones, especially, you're getting organic. So the easiest first step is to make or to avoid those toxins that can be avoided. Stop putting chemicals on your body when you're putting makeup on, or you're washing yourself with toxic creams and soaps and what have you. Stop putting antiperspirants containing aluminium and all of these kind of things. You can make choices to avoid, and that should be the first thing that you do. Avoid what can be avoided. Now, it's true to say that not all toxins can be avoided. You can't avoid the toxins in the air where you live. You're just going to breathe them in. Nothing you can do about that, and a mask isn't going to help. That makes it worse, actually. Okay, so you can't avoid the toxins that come in from your clothes, which is a lot of toxins coming from your clothes, because nearly all clothes are made from petrochemicals, or even if they're made from cotton or something, cotton is heavily sprayed. It's very difficult to get clean, organic cloth, non-toxic. It's very difficult and very expensive, and not many people do it. So some toxins, many toxins can be avoided. Those should be avoided. Other toxins can't be avoided. And by the way, toxins come in a number of different types. There's chemical toxins, and there's electrical toxins, and then there's stress toxins. Okay, so you create toxins through stress. Then you can be chemically poisoned, and you can be electrically poisoned. So they're the main routes of different toxins. So after you've done all you can to avoid your toxins, what do you do then? Okay, well, there's a number of things, but my number one thing that I use, and I recommend everybody should do, is to use a zeolite product. So what is zeolite? So zeolite is a mineral that has the ability to absorb a massive range of toxins. And what it does is it goes into the body, it acts like a magnet, it grabs the toxins, it neutralizes them so they're no longer toxic even before they've moved out of the body. So the moment the zeolite has grabbed them, it's no longer toxic, and then it leaves the body. So why does it leave the body? Because zeolite is not bioavailable to the body. It's not a mineral that your body can use. You have no receptor sites for it. Okay, so it can't hang around in the body, which is great in this case, because it's going to leave the body on average in 6 hours, and it's going to take with it the toxins that it grabs. So first question is, what kind of toxins does it remove? Well, it removes a massive range of toxins. So it removes pesticides, it removes herbicides, it removes heavy metals like mercury and arsenic, it removes even radiation. Okay, so it removes, I've just given broad types of toxins there, the 4 major broad types, and it removes all of them. Okay, so it removes a massive range of toxins, and it does it in a very safe and effective way. It doesn't matter if you're a person with genetic issues such as MTHFR or COMT, genetic expression issues, it's going to work despite that. It doesn't matter if you're a person who has toxic pathway problems, maybe, for example, you're prone to constipation, which is one of your main toxic exit pathways. It's going to work anyway. It doesn't matter if you don't sweat. It's going to work anyway. It's going to work on everybody. It's got no contraindications. It doesn't matter what medications you're taking. Hopefully you're not taking too many, but if you are, it's not going to affect its effectiveness. It doesn't matter pretty much anything. It doesn't matter. It's going to go in your body. It's just like a magnet. It doesn't, if you've got a bucket of iron filings, it's going to pick them up. It doesn't matter if you pour water into the bucket as well and put them out. It's still going to, it doesn't matter what you do. If you put that magnet into the iron filings, it's going to pick them up. Okay, so it's much like that. It's a magnet for toxins. It's going to pick them up, and it's going to remove them no matter what your situation, because it removes them primarily through the urine. And everybody pees. If you weren't peeing, you would be in hospital because you would be in big trouble. Okay, so it's going to take it out through your urine. Now, there are a number of different types of zeolite. So first it was actually hundreds. So the type of zeolite that's needed for humans to consume or animals is a type of zeolite called clinoptilolite. Okay, so that is what you're wanting, clinoptilolite. And then there's 2 basic types within that. There's clinoptilolite powder and liquid. Okay, so I'm going to give you a specific recommendation in just a few minutes, the one that I've been recommending for many, many years. Many doctors like Dr. Tenpenny, Dr. Circus, Erin Elizabeth, many people that really understand these things recommend this particular zeolite that I'm going to recommend. But so you need a few things. First of all, because zeolite is a toxin magnet, it naturally grabs toxins. So when you mine zeolite, it's got toxins in it because it's grabbed them. So you need your zeolite to be cleaned so that it's absolutely clean before you purchase it, because you don't want to be putting contaminated zeolite into your body particularly. Not a great idea. It's not going to have any space for your toxins if it's full of other toxins. Okay, so you need it to be clean. The second thing that's important is the size of the zeolite. The size makes a huge difference for 2 reasons. First of all, the size creates its strength, its power. So what do you think? The bigger it is, the more powerful it is, or the smaller it is? What do you reckon? Okay, so I'll answer the question for you. So the smaller it is, the more powerful it is, because it works by surface area, and something smaller gives a bigger surface area. To explain that, if you have a beach ball and you throw it on a pool, it's covering up a little bit of surface area on that pool. If the beach ball is full of golf balls and you split it open, those much smaller golf balls that were taking up the same space as the beach ball initially will now cover a much bigger surface area. If those golf balls are full of olive oil and you burst them, and now the olive oil, which is smaller again, will spread over the whole pool and probably 10 more pools plus. So the smaller you go, the bigger the surface area that's available. Okay, so the size matters for that reason. Power. The smaller, the more powerful. In many cases, it's many thousands of times more powerful than, for example, the powdered zeolites, which are much bigger. The second thing is the size enables it to get to places that a larger size wouldn't. So what I'm going to show you in a minute and recommend is a nano zeolite. Now, some people freak out when they hear the word nano, because nano is associated with toxins, and that's really bad. When it's a nanotoxin, that's horribly bad, because that means that the toxin can now, because it's so small, can get to places that it otherwise wouldn't get to and do more damage. For example, it can pass the brain-blood barrier and get into the brain. So when it becomes to a toxin, you don't want any toxin, of course, but you especially don't want a nanotoxin. But when it comes to a toxin magnet, you need a nano one to get to the places that the nanotoxins have got to. So nano just means size. It doesn't mean bad or good. It's just size. In the case of a toxin, it's bad. In the case of a toxin magnet, it's super good. So you want a nano-sized, clean clinoctilar-light zeolite. And this is what I use. This is the one that I recommend. I'm going to put a link below this video. So this is a tasteless spray. You literally just spray it under your tongue, and within 30 seconds it's in your blood. It sits in your blood and it will start to mop up toxins. Your blood is the place where all toxins go. Even if you eat something toxic, it's going to end up in the blood. If it's got into your cell, when your cells are flushed by your blood, it ends up in your blood. Then it's either redistributed or it's exited. Hopefully it's exited. Oftentimes it's not, and it's redistributed because we are so toxic our body can't keep up. This is what is going to help you to keep up. This is going to get the toxins out. It's going to grab them. It's going to neutralize them. It's going to help alkalize your blood, because the toxins are the real cause of acidity, not your diet. It's toxins that really are very acidic and create a very large challenge for your body to remain at the pH it needs to be, which varies, of course, depending on where you're talking. But in blood, it's 7.35 to 7.45. So you're going to really help your blood stay in that correct pH, and it has to. It can't move much out, or you're in big trouble. So this is going to grab those acidic toxins, neutralize them, and move them out of your body. So this, I've been using this for many, many years. I've been recommending it for many, many years, and it will help to deal with the cause of all those symptoms, and many that we haven't touched on. So we're not treating a disease with this. Okay, we're not treating cancer. We're not treating fibromyalgia. We're not treating multiple sclerosis or any of the other autism or whatever. We're not treating any of those diseases. We're treating the cause. We're treating the toxins underlying the symptoms labeled as those things, if that makes sense. I have seen some amazing things with this product. I often link it up with a few other products, but this product, I've seen amazing things. I've got to be careful what I say. If you want to know details, then I'm happy to receive messages and connect with you and talk more about some of the labels that have been helped with this product. Okay, now I like to often put it with nutrition as well, because that's the other side of the coin, but this on its own. Now, I'm going to give everyone listening to this video a very special offer. Okay, this product in the US is $64, and that will last between 1 and 2 months, depending on dosage for an adult. Okay, but if you've not bought from this company, the company is Touchstone. It's a company that I've worked with for years and years, and I love. If you've not bought from them before, I can give you a company discount where it literally is going to cost them to give you this product. So you can get this delivered to your house in the US, not just the US, but I'm going to give you the US price. In the US, it will cost you delivered $13.63 or something like that. Under $14 delivered for you to try for a month or two, depending on, well, most people share it with the family, whatever. But if you're in the UK, same offer, but it's £10 delivered. Okay, if you're in Australia, it varies, but it's in most of the major English-speaking countries. Okay, so and some not English-speaking as well, by the way. So this is an amazing opportunity to try this at a price that is going to be costing the company. Now they do that because they assume, and they're mostly correct, that people will stay on the product thereafter and pay the regular price after that. You don't have to stay on it. You would be agreeing to do that when you get that special price, but if you don't want to do it, a couple of clicks, you don't have to call anyone to cancel it or do anything. A couple of clicks and you can stop any more coming. Just the one that at $13.84 or $64 or whatever it is, 83, I can't remember, under 14. So this stuff is the foundation of part of the key foundation of all my protocols for all of the labels that are given for stuff, because getting toxins out is absolutely critical, along with nutrition, along with supporting immune. There's a few things you've got to do. This is fundamental. If you have any questions or you want to know more about it, then just shoot me a message or ask in the thread below this. This is a live right this second. Of course, I can see people listening to it later. I'll still be saying this is a live right this second, and it won't be. But right now, this is a live. But most people are going to see it afterwards while it's not live, because Facebook doesn't like to show my lives to my people. I think I've had 4 or 5 people on watching. This is all I've had, which is typical. But I'll put the link in the comments to the special offer. There is another version of this I don't think I've got to hand, which is slightly larger. This one is called Pure Body Extra. The other one is called Pure Body. That one is for digestion. So if you've got specific digestion issues, this one doesn't get into the digestion. It goes into the blood. So unless you've got blood in your stomach, hopefully you haven't, this one's not going to get there. You need the other one. Or if you want to do both, the whole body with the blood and the digestion, then you'd need both. There's a special offer on both as well. You have to ask me about that. Okay, so that's just a quick overview. I hope that answers some of the questions. By the way, you know, the other side effects like parasites and one thing and another, as you cut your toxins down, then parasites tend to disappear and leave too. Lots of people get parasites leaving their body once they start removing the toxins with this stuff. There you go. Any questions, just give me a shout. God bless. Have a great day. Bye-bye.